Welcome to episode number 16 of Island by Film. I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a rundown of a camera that I really love. Built in 1976, the Pentax ME was first notably appreciated for the fact that it was incredibly small. In fact, you can see it's easy to wrap your hands around a camera like this and manage it and carry it around. It has a very nice film advance. Nice and smooth, but yet easy to advance. And the shutter sound I actually really like as well too. I don't know if you can hear that, but that shutter sound is relatively smooth as well too. On the top here, it's a fairly simple camera as far as its functionality goes. You have a fully automatic mode, which is based on aperture priority. So you set the aperture on the camera. Right now I have it set to f2. This is I'm shooting with the 50mm f2. It's a K-mount lens from Pentax. This camera is all K-mount mounted glass versus some of the previous cameras from Pentax, which were all M42 mount. You know, for a walk around travel camera, this camera is just a joy to shoot. You do have the auto mode here, which I said is based on an aperture priority setting. So you set your aperture, you hold your self up to the viewfinder, and the first thing that you see on this is you see the shutter speed right in the viewfinder. So it gives you the opportunity to see how slow or how fast the shutter speed is going to be. And if you need to speed that shutter speed up, obviously you're going to open the aperture up a little bit more to a larger f-stop. So this lens, like I said, is a 50mm f2, so it's quite a fast lens, and you know, I mean, it's not a stellar lens by any means, but as you'll be able to see in the photographs I'll show you shortly, it's not a bad lens either to shoot with. But not only do you have the function of auto, but you also have a 100 speed shutter, so you can actually set it so it's always set to 100th of a second. And so if you are, say, shooting an ISO 100 film using the Sunny 16 rule, you can set it to f16 and shoot at 100th of a second, and you're fully manual. You don't have to worry about your exposure changing as long as the lighting conditions will allow it. It's absolutely perfect for that. You can adjust the ISO just by pulling up here all the way from 25 to ISO 400. So that's not bad. I mean, for the most part, I'm shooting either Tri-X or I'm shooting Kodak Gold. So I'm always shooting within that range, and it seems to work just fine. You can also adjust either up or down 1 or 2 stops manually as well. So if you want to overexpose, say you're shooting portraits into the sun, you want to overexpose a couple stops so that you make sure you're exposing the skin tones properly. This camera is actually pretty easy to do that. So when it comes to loading the camera, it's very simple. You pull on this, slide this open here. It's a simple camera to open or to load. One of the things I really like about this as well too is you can actually see your film advancing. So there's an indicator here. There's nothing worse than loading a film and shooting a full roll of film only to find out that your film had never advanced and you have a totally blank roll. Everyone has done that. I've done it. You've done it, I'm sure. At least a couple of times. So it's really nice to be able to have that indicator on there as well too. I have a soft shutter release up here, but you can actually take this off and you can use that shutter release cable on this camera as well too. So like I said, it's a K-mount glass camera. So it's got a bayonet style mount and K-mount. These lenses are readily available. They're cheap to find. In fact, I own 3 of these cameras. I own an ME Super, and I own 2 of the regular MEs. 2 of the MEs work. For some reason the Super doesn't work. The mirror lockup seems to be all locked up for some reason, and I'm not sure why that is the case. I've done a little bit of research online and I can't seem to indicate why that is the case, but nonetheless I haven't been super motivated to repair it because I've been very happy with this one. This one's done a great job for me. It's never ever caused me any issues. I don't think I've replaced these batteries once. I probably have. I would venture to say at the very least run 30 rolls through this camera. So this was actually one of the earlier cameras. I did doing a little bit of research. I found this camera was made in 1976. It was the year I was born, so it's kind of special in terms of that. So I'm going to show you some of the images that I shot and show you a little bit of a close-up of the camera. And thanks again for joining me on episode 16 of Island by Film.